are fabulous. I love this hat.
Thank you, Miss
It's a
Tina.
hat in that hat.
I call it my Indiana Jones hat. It's what you got to do these days.
And it fits you well. You are so suave and so distinguished, Mr. Woodson. I tell you, you are just a vision of fabulosity. And I thank you for being my fabulous co-host on Beauty in the Spirit. As you know, today we're going to get into the juice of the juice
of the juice. Shirt.
Yes. I need to get some tea, but I've out-teed myself during this season of pandemic. So now I'm going to take some water because water is pure. It's pure, P-U-R-E.
Yes.
Meaning that it's not diluted, meaning that it is God's creation, meaning that nothing is put in it and it gives us life. Yes. It sustains us. It washes us. Yes. It cleanses us. And that's what truth does. It washes the soul. It cleans you. It clears the way. So our next guest, his name is Kevin Richardson. Mr. Richardson, we welcome you.
Good. Speak more. Good afternoon. Good to see everybody here, and thank you so much for having us.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
A great introduction that he is so due to have. Kevin Richardson, he is the most sought out after and respected personal trainer in all of New York City, according to CBS On the Couch. Celebrity personal trainer to actors, singers, politicians, and CEO. 6-time winner of Manhattan Awards, Best Personal Training, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2014, 2013, 2012. Okay? Now, he is the first international fitness and nutrition consultant for UNICEF, the creator of Naturally Intense, High Intense Training, lifetime drug-free, natural bodybuilding champion, recognized world authority on high intensity training, a head instructor for the School of Jiu-Jitsu, featured in numerous media, including the Wall Street Journal and CBS News, over 2.6 million blog readers, and 29 years of personal training experience. And last but not least, note that as of March the 2nd, 2020, he has a beautiful online personal training and diet coaching with celebrity online trainer and himself and his assistants. So look forward to following Mr. Kevin Richardson. And we welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
So, Mr. Richardson, you know how I'm going to do this. I have a very important question for you. I need to know, what experiences led you to compete in the first place?
Well, I was a very skinny kid. I was 125 pounds when I first started bodybuilding. And when I was a kid, comic books were everything to me. So Batman, Black Panther, all those characters, they really inspired me. And I really wanted to have that complete look. You know, when I was a kid, you know, all the heroes had this really iconic bodies, and they had they had muscles and they had biceps, they had abs. And I started studying martial arts when I was 9, and I could fight kind of like a superhero, but I didn't look like a superhero. And when I got introduced to bodybuilding, I mean, my brother was a bodybuilder, my dad was a bodybuilder, my backyard was a gym at one point. So I grew up around bodybuilders, but I didn't really put 2 and 2 together to get to where I wanted to get to. I had to become a bodybuilder. But once I got to the gym, started training, that was really, really it. And the first time I walked to the gym, the instructor said that I was too skinny and I could never be a bodybuilder. There's no way I could ever do it. And I think that was the best thing that ever happened, because had he not said that, I wouldn't have been so angry and so determined to do what I've done now for the past 32 years. Wow. And the rest, is kind of history.
Wow, that's amazing and so inspirational. Mr. Woodson, you have a question before I continue?
I just think that it's great that you talk about the opposition, because sometimes opposition pushes us to our destiny. And I feel like them telling you no is the reason why you are where you are today, or part of the reason. It helped to motivate you. Of course, you had to do it on your own, but that motivation is very important when you have doors blocking you.
Well, you're all talking about discrimination, and I came from I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago. And in Trinidad and Tobago, I wasn't black. I didn't know I was black. I didn't have any reason to know I was black. I was just Kevin. My friends called me Kevin. I called them by their names. I didn't get called any names, that and the other. But because I was in a very competitive school, and they kind of had an idea that we would end up at some point or the other, either here in the US or in England, they started preparing us for it. And they started telling us, I mean, it's sad to say, but we were actually taught that, listen, when you go to the US, you're at the bottom of the rung. You have to be better than everyone else. You can't just be good at what you do, because you're always going to have that parachute behind you pulling you back as you run forward that everybody else around you may not necessarily have. And the idea is you have to use that reality, because we can't change reality to your benefit. You have to find a way to say, okay, when I get here, things are going to be hard for me. I'm going to have, you know, some disadvantages. I have to use that energy to make myself better than I ever could conceive myself of being. So when I started becoming, you know, instead of going into the personal training field, I couldn't be a personal trainer. I had to be the best personal trainer possible. I had to win awards. I have to be on TV. I have to be Wall Street Journal. I have to be doing, you know, conferences. I have to be training hundreds of thousands of people. I have to be like out there. If you're not out there, you're not going to do it. And it's a sad thing, because the reality is that there have been many opportunities that I've had, and I'll be on a panel, and the people on the panel aren't anywhere near as qualified as I am. But of course, there's a skin color difference. And that's just something that over the years, instead of getting bitter about it, it's been something that I've used the same way in my bodybuilding. You know, you tell me I can't do something. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to take that energy. I can't get rid of it. Energy can't be created or destroyed, but I can use it. And that's what I've done, you know, literally over the course of my career. And I've made a point in my career to never discriminate, because I know what it is, you know, to have someone come to me with a product and say, listen, we have this great product. It's fantastic. You're the perfect person for it. But, you know, here's the problem. You know, do you have anybody who does exactly what you do, but looks a little bit different? Like, these are things that, you know, you get over and over. You know, I was the first natural bodybuilder to have a DVD on the market. This is when YouTube was just starting off. And, you know, that video ended up, you know, selling like 5,000 copies, and I had to do, you know, all the marketing myself. It was all on YouTube. I had a huge following on YouTube, but I also had a lot of discriminatory comments to deal with that other people wouldn't necessarily have to deal with. And it became something where, you know, it became kind of like part of your job. You know, you go to work, you're doing, you know, the work you need to do to market yourself and, you know, provide for your family and, you know, make your business work. But you also have to deal with, you know, with this constant barrage of harassment. It is harassment, and it's harassment based on the color of your skin. And it took me a while to kind of figure out how to deal with that, because coming from Trinidad, I just didn't get it. I'm like, well, why? But like, okay, this is how it is. So you make the best of what you have. You have to be better. You know, they go low, you go high. They go low, you go high. They go low, you go high. And just this week, actually, we started an Instagram account at Naturally Intense, and the same thing is there again. And I had this one comment about someone saying that, you know, the reason why I was so successful as a natural bodybuilder was because my genes were bred through slavery, and that you know, the same way pets are bred, that, you know, you were bred, your ancestors were bred by other humans, so you can't really say you're a natural bodybuilder. And that's kind of the regular stuff I've been going through now for the past, 11 years since my, you know, really being out there. And I just delete it. I just walk on, but I didn't want to do it this time. I wanted to make it a teaching moment. I wanted to see, listen, this is what I have to deal with on a regular basis.
Yes.
I have to deal with it on a regular basis, but at the same time, you know, you can't let it make you bitter. You have to go, and it's not easy. It's really not easy, but you have to take that energy and say, okay, if people see me this way, I have to find a way to make sure that I am, you know, above and beyond, head and shoulders, as high as is humanly possible, and just keep on going and never let anything that ever pull you down. And the reality is that, you know, there are, for every one ignorant for lack of a less polite word, individual that you deal with out there, there's 1,000 wonderful individuals you have to deal with. So you have to focus on them and provide for them. And the ones who try to pull you down, you wish them the best.
Yes.
You know, you keep loving your heart at all times and just keep on going.
Kevin, oh my goodness! First, JoJo,
Can you hear me, guys?
us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just stay here for a
Wait,
second,
can you hear me?
JoJo. I'm going
Let
to
me
bring
know.
you back in, okay?
What's up?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you. Jojo, can you hear me?
Kevin?
Yes, right here.
Yes, I want to say to you, the discrimination that you have experienced as of late and prior, it takes a warrior and a leader to continue and carry the torch in this field, such as yourself. And that's why I admire you. And anything that you said, I know you know, I have went through and then some. I have had people say, this is not the March on Washington. I have had people say this to me in fitness competitions. This is not the March on Washington when I gave and delivered, during our speech. I have had people say in my classes in group fitness, I do not need to hear about Martin Luther King. I have this stuff documented, just as you. And like you said, we keep going because I agree with you. We are mixed, my family too. Kevin, I was raised just like you. I don't know. I played with white kids, Asian kids. I did not know until I encountered it one day at the playground. And then I encountered it in college. One time I was in the locker room at a very prestigious university. Oh yeah, today we're gonna get it out. I don't care if this show goes over an hour. I have time. It's our show.
We're at home. We're at home. Why not? Let's talk about it.
One day I was at and JoJo, I see you, and I'm glad we can hear you because I'm looking forward to you up here with me, my fellow brother in fitness. So don't worry, I see you, and we'll get it up here. And I was at a very prestigious university, Kevin, before I let you expound into something else I want to ask you. And I was around the corner, Kevin, in the locker room. That's going to be in my book. And in the corner, the beautiful mahogany coated locker rooms, of grandeur. And my leotard was still wet because we did that back in the day. So I had to go quickly in between classes and squeeze out my leotard a little bit because I'd like to stay clean and it wouldn't smell in class. So I squeezed out my leotard, and what I did was went back into the locker room to hang it up, air dry, while I snatched another leotard to put on to change for the second class. So in between that change of leotard, I was in the corner all the way in the back because I didn't have a lock. So I put my stuff in a locker that I knew nobody would go all the way back there so that, I didn't have a lock with me. I didn't want anybody to steal it. So I was all the way in the back of the locker like that. So as I was changing quickly to my leotard, I heard this. This is going in my book. Oh, yeah, they smell. Oh, they smell. In all my years of studying at the prestigious Martha Graham, Albanelli, I never heard such things. And I see JoJo's face too. We'll get you up with JoJo because I know you got stuff to say. But I said, what did she say, Kevin? I said, what did she say? I said, Tina, are you hearing things? So I said, oh my God. So I said, you know what it told me, Kevin? It said, Tina, be still, because I can hold a press hold. So it said, Tina, I can lock my body good. Okay. It said, Tina, be still. Just make sure. So then it said, just listen. I said, oh my God. She continued the conversation and they started laughing. So I came from behind where I changed my leotard and came, and I said to her, I came out and you should have saw their faces. They said, it was like it was a ghost. Okay? And she said, and I said, I heard what you said. And I said, I would like to speak to you. Let me tell you, Kevin, this is going to be in the book, and I'm going to get ready to move on. When we went to lunch, she told some of the university and the teachers that I was chasing her through the School of American Ballet. I said, so they said, she's scared that you're going to beat her up, Tina. I said, is that because I'm Black? I said, all I said was, I'm going to have to speak to you. I would like to speak to you. And I think you guys know exactly what I wanted to speak to her. I was going to say, I heard what you said, and it was very derogatory. It was very discriminatory, and it's not nice. But her story, because of power and the privilege, was to change the story, as they always do with us. So, well, I'm not going to expand any more today, but I think you guys get what I'm saying, because I'm going to bring up Joseph with that, but I need to keep you, Kevin, while I have you, because I'm just so honored to have you and all my guests up here. Please believe that when Ms. Thompson says, and when I first reached out, we don't have to give them all the private information. You always said, I am honored. And just as you honor me, I honor you. And I do mean that. And we should continue to honor you. And if I see anything negative out there like you, guess what? We're going to continue to click like. We're going to send you hearts. We're going to put up fabulous picture. Go, bro. We love you and we love what you're doing. And that's what I'm going to do to any hater that if I'm on social media, I will see that does that to someone who is creating a legacy for our field. So I have to tell you that I've experienced that firsthand in a high collegiate level at the most infamous universities on the face of the planet. And that's just one instance that I experienced. And as I said all the time, my academic records have always been high. I was in the gifted and talented program, my mother said, since the second grade. My SATs are extremely high. I had 4 scholarships, one of them including Polytechnic University. I had a full scholarship offer for community college when I was in high school at BMTC. The principal said, you are selected. I did a dance program. They took me in a full scholarship. You know, Kevin, the list goes on. So because that's our family, I was meant to achieve. So I never had an academic problem. The problem I had was I would not stand for racism. I would not stand for you having me. I'm just as good to be at this school or at this job than you are. And you're not going to walk around trying to think that, one, we are ghetto or I'm chasing you. I will never believe that. She had people believe that I was chasing her because she tried to block out the fact that I caught what she said. And I'll never, ever in my life forget when I got downstairs that was the story that she fabricated, and she said that. So when a person calls you anything with a DNA of an animal, that is so discriminatory and so harassful that it's just disgusting. And you're right. Let me do this real quick before we move on, because I know we got to move. But I'm going to do this real quick. It's very important before I lose Kevin, because I'm not going to lose him. This is important today. I want you guys to listen just a second here. It's important that you guys see this. Do you guys see this man's body? Do you guys see this man? Listen. Listen. Don't take it the wrong way, because I'm a married woman child. Ooh, listen, I have competed and I have seen the top bodybuilders. And let me tell you, it's not even about placements and titles with this. A body is a body, okay? And that says nothing Neanderthal to me, okay? That is a gorgeous, gorgeous specimen of a human creation. And that's the way I see it. And I would like to ask you, Kevin, if you have some final words for us and how we can cope with being a minority and a minority bodybuilder and fitness leader in this field. How can we cope? How can we go forward in any suggestion that you have?
I think it's important that we understand that the barriers are there, because if you're not aware of it, it can take a while before you see it. It's important to be aware of it, but again, as I always say, you have to find some way to go above. You have to go above. You have to just be so far in the clouds above it all that when it does happen, it doesn't really bother you, doesn't really phase you because you're just really, really, really high up. You have to go, you have to achieve, you have to believe in yourself, even when others, sometimes will, say things or do things that make you not feel like you can achieve. But I think that at the end of the day, I've been here in America for 25 years, and I can say that there is a lot of things that need to be fixed. There are a lot of things that need to be changed, and I think that we're in a place now where things are beginning to, those conversations are beginning to happen. But we have to always remember that the opportunities are out there, and if I can do it, you can do it. You can make it. You can do it. But you have to put the work in. It's not going to be easy, and there are going to be people pulling you down all the time. But just always remember, there's no one pulling you down doing better than you are, because they can only pull you down to be beneath you. So keep them beneath you. Don't stoop to it. Maintain a certain degree of decorum, a certain degree of positivity, no matter who you see, because, like you were saying, Tina, our job is to inspire everyone. I'm not here to inspire Black people. I'm here to inspire people. I'm not here to inspire white people. I'm here to inspire people. I'm not here to inspire Chinese people. I'm not here to inspire anybody else but people. And that's what we have to do. We have to go out there and be an inspiration. We have to be the Michael Jordans. We have to be, the athlete that's just so good at what we do, but not because of the fact that we're of color and we have to deal with those discriminatory barriers, but because that's just how it should be. And we have to use whatever energy we can use, and we have to support each other and always look out to make sure that we never commit the same mistakes that are committed onto us. We have to be better. We have to show exactly that idea that you can be better, that you don't have to judge someone by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
And with those final words, Mr. Richardson, I just have to say, we applaud you and we thank you for your time and spending just your afternoon with Beauty in the Spirit. We thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm really, really appreciate it. I'm truly honored. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, wasn't that something, Mr. Kevin Richardson himself? So now we're going to get to our next guest. His name is Charles Jojo Tyler. He is a virtual health and wellness creative fitness director. He is widely known as the shaman of fitness, and he is on a mission to help Americans enjoy getting into shape. He is a master coach of yoga, Pilates, aerobics, body sculpting, spinning, and urban rebounding silver sneakers. In the past decade, Tyler has certified more than a dozen yoga teachers through his Yoga for Soul program, featured in 2010 July and August issue of American Fitness magazine as one of the top international unique fusion classes. He is a national educator for the American Council of Exercise, ACE, and the Aerobics Fitness Association of America, AFA. Those of you who know what I mean. He certifies instructors in urban rebounding, and he's established the first program of its kind in London. Tyler's urban rebounding program was featured on NBC Today and Good Day New York in 2004, and he's been a QVC presenter. Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. For London and Milan, Italy.
Y'all hear me?
Welcome, Charles Jojo.
Welcome.
I hope you can hear. It's like we're all breaking up. Could you hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you now, little,
can you
but
hear
I
me?
hear you. How are you?
You can hear. Okay, good. Oh, yeah. I think I'm absolutely great. I'm listening to your last guest, and he quoted something from Martin Luther King, which is great. And Tina, Miss Tina, we go way back. And I want to thank you. I'm talking slow because I want people to hear us. And I want to thank you so much for this platform, which needs to be done. And when you was reading off of my bio, which I found out is 2 pages long, and I can't even put more stuff up there because as a Black man, I always prove myself over and over and over again. And even in the yoga world. So I had to jump those hurdles. You're talking about what we need now. I'm talking about what's now. We talked about having a union years ago with the East Coast Alliance. And the reason why they decided not to do that, they gave us health insurance to shut our mouths up. this 2020. The only way we can do a union, and I'm talking about for Black, brown, and white, everyone, is that we have to join, are you ready? The Hotel Association, massage therapists, personal trainers, of course, yoga. We all have to be in it together in order to have a union. With that said, that might not never happen because we're all independent contractors. We like our own thing. Am I right, everybody? So my last thing I wanted to share with you, and I said it earlier, is that it's not about the young generation in group fitness. It's about the older generation too as well. And now there is no work. We are suing Governor Cuomo to open up gyms. But what's going to happen is that the minorities, us, we're going to go in there because we need to make money, and we're going to be sacrificing our lives just to teach a class. So we have to look at that. There's so many ideas as a creator and working with a lot of people. I don't toot my horn. I try not to, because sometimes with our community, we get jealous of each other. We think someone is trying to take something from us. We are in competition with each other. And the only competition we should have is with ourselves. The other thing that bothers me in this industry, Tina, you gave so many scenes that I've been involved with, like you. And I mean, being in London, being on national TV with QVC, and experience racism. Working with Urban Rebounding, being the only Black guy that actually made me do all of the ethnicity. I was Latin, I was Jamaica, I was all of them. So, and to a point where that I never shared the story, and if I share it, I'll let it get out now. A lot of people don't know that the African Bound Urban Rebounding DVD that we did, which is still on Amazon, was from someone showing me a video of a sister doing it and telling me, could you do that? We need you to do exactly what she's doing. So what I was learning was how people were copying people, just like they copy Soul Spin, Soul Cycle. I learned to trademark Yoga for Soul because of Soul Spin. Now, the reason why I have proof, because I was at Equinox during that time. My class was the only one called Soul Spin. Do you know why I called it that? A lot of people ask me, and it had nothing to do with motivation. I was the only Black person teaching the class in front of an all-white audience at maybe 63rd, maybe 19th Street, Equinox, and I can name a few teachers, know what I mean, and I needed some soul in class, and I played nothing but soul music, and that's how I came up with Soul Spin. Believe it or not, a lot of people say, how did you come up with that? That's how we came up with that. My point I'm making is that I had to learn how to market myself, trademark myself. I had to run a business, which I'm doing now, for myself, because I wanted everyone. Do you hear me? Everyone. You, Tina, I can tell, Rain, I can name so many people from Crunch, HRC, New York Health and Racquet Club, you name it, New York Sports Club. I can name all the clubs, even the elite clubs, Yale. Oh my God, I've been teaching a New York Athletics Club. Name one, I've been there. It's the same thing. They treat us not at the table. They treat us under the table. And I had to beg for what my rate would be. You have to be determined, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We have to learn about how we can market ourselves. His name is Dennis Vorez. He was a #1 white instructor. He pulled me to the side, everyone, and he showed me how to write down a whole class format. He showed me how to present. He told me how to go to ECA and tell them how I became a presenter at all these places, because he took the time out. I'm doing the same thing with my African American people. I held one guy, gave him a yoga certification so he could train other people to become yoga teachers. You know what I mean? So we need to help each other, not step on each other. And it's kind of hard because everyone is out for that money, property, and prestige. And it's not about that anymore. Now that we're getting older, I want to take up so much time, but now that we're getting older, me and been in this industry for 30 years, it's about moving what's happening now in the moment. When they fired us at one of the clubs, New York Sports Club, our automatically was doing virtue already on Zoom. So I kind of, you know, you got to go with the step. You have to be ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be the same. Everybody is waiting around for the next. The next is Crunch. The next is New York Sports Club. The next is all the clubs, you name them, Plus One, you name them. It's not going to be the same anymore. And a lot of people don't realize that. The last thing is that I was riding my bike and I was running across a trainer was outdoors doing his training. He used to be with CrossFit. I don't know if you heard any issues with CrossFit and his racist comments that we already knew. Really? And he was the form from Equinox back in the day. And everybody know that Casey Duke, who was the leader of Equinox back in the day, hired us, African Americans and Latinos, black and brown, to make that place happen. She was the first on Group Fitness.
Yes.
And we always have to have that one token to be a presenter. That one token. We never could have all of us become presenters. We had to follow them. They were telling us what the 8 count was and what the 32 count was.
Yes.
Well, let me finish this 1 minute. I ran into this brother, and I don't even know this brother. You know what he told me? He told me, "Oh my God, I'm glad I ran into you." I said, "You're doing great. You have a class coming up." He said, "Listen, I don't teach Pilates, but I'm willing to work with you. And maybe you can bring some people too. And we can work together." That's what I'm talking about. Let's share the pie. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, that's the thing. That's why I keep, you know what, it's okay. And this is what I wanted to say to you is that I can hear you and I keep, because I just don't want to lose you again. And everything you were saying, Mr. Wilson, we heard you and we have some other guests. But let me say this to you. First, you said, Tina, I don't want to take up too much time. I want to say this. We have guests backstage, but I want to say this to you. Today is a show that's long overdue. Like you mentioned, the union, we have been talking about this. I remember the first time I got finished teaching and I came outside and you came to me. You came to me and you started speaking to me from your heart and I believed you and I said, I'm for it. And I remember, you remember that. I said, I'm here for it. But going on with that, I advocate you with that. But I want to say this, something that you might not know, but you might not, you know. You were doing urban rebounding when I came to the ECA. I was running 4 health clubs for New York Sports Club. And that's the only time I'm going to mention their name up here because I won't give them all of that. But I was running health clubs. Okay, wait a second, Jojo, because we're going to get into it. Natasha, do not go anywhere. All the guests do not go anywhere. Please. Okay.
Don't leave. Don't
leave. Because we're working live. We have a connection. Sometimes people have connection issues. And guess what? They have a lot to say that needs to be said. Some of these people have been enduring fitness fields over 20 years. They have been putting your body, getting you in shape. They have been motivating you. They have been inspiring you. And guess what? Today, this is not the program that the corporate office is monitoring and is going to tell you when you need to stop. It's not happening today. The program is produced by Tina Thompson and Joseph Woodson. And she's going to stop when the routine music is over. Till
5, 6, 7, 8. That's right.
Boom. So where I'm going with this is, you don't know that I watched you with that urban rebounding when I came into a convention. And I looked at you. I have it on a VCR tape somewhere that I'm archiving and I'm going to put up. I have a whole, now you laugh because you know us Sagittariuses, right? So I never forget. I looked at you. We always had a pleasantry. That's the thing I love about you, because you got me. And I looked at you, and that moment, you don't know this, but I was so, you freezing up again? You freezing up again?
Say it again. I didn't hear it because it broke up.
Okay, yeah, stop moving. Listen, I was so proud of you leading that movement and that class that I stopped and I took footage with you. I videotaped it. And I was looking at, yes, in that convention. And that was way before they start getting color presenters of color, and they, I know they got their little cliques or whatever. And guess what? I've been qualified, and they know it. And listen, I listen. I don't have to kiss anybody's butt for you to say, you know what, Ms. Thompson, we would love for you to present. And that's the thing you need to know, is that I really, really was so proud of you that day at the Marriott Marquis. I'll never forget it. And I looked at you and I said, I need to get this archival moment, because for me, you represented men in fitness, and you were in there and you were leading with such joy. And I knew for you to be up there, it took some behind the scenes work. And I just was like, I can't miss this moment. And I don't know if you remember, but I just stood there. And you recognize me, you start smiling. But I stood there on the side, just smiling at you and just looking at you like, you better work, you better do it. And you just smiled and you kept going. But that was a moment that I had of you. And I knew from then that you would be, accordingly with myself, one of the leaders and innovators in fitness, and you had lasting power. Yeah. So I wanted to say that to you. And before I get you off here, I have a question for you. So don't go rushing us. I'm getting you off, but don't go rushing our time, because we've been waiting for this for some time. I want to say this to you. You touched on something that I need to touch on before we bring up the guests. Grateful. Yes, I'm grateful too, bro. It's this. The crabs in the barrel syndrome. I'm gonna bring my spirit Sora up here in a few seconds, because I can feel her, and we're gonna talk, sis. Trust me. But let me do this right now. Hold this, sis, when I bring you up. Let me tell you something. You hear me, right, Jojo and Joseph?
We hear you.
Let me say something to you. I'm gonna move this real close.
We're listening.
I'm not your competition. I have never been your competition. When you get into corporate meetings and you try to pull me down because I'm saying Palabale is my brand, you're going to pay me for my brand. When I say you sending instructors in my class on the low so that they could watch my class and I could train them, they did not announce themselves, but you are letting me train instructors for free. They're coming to my class for 3 months straight, watching my style, watching my technique, and then they introduce themselves when they're done after you get them a class on the schedule. They go uptown or to some other place and they teach the same class that I've been teaching them for 3 months. That means that Tina Thompson trained them. That means that you did not pay me for training an employee. That means that you are also stealing my technique and my style. That means that you are also stealing my brand. The very thing that you claim to not like, my strength and my push and my empowerment, the very thing that you don't like, you have put a new employee in my class. I had so many instances where they will have this little girl, and I noticed I said little girl. This little 20-year-old or 19-year-old take my class and study my class, and she will infiltrate herself into my following. She even will get my following to be like, oh, she's a part of us. Because my following, I love my fitness family, like you, JoJo. And my fitness family be like, oh, hi, girl, ba, 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 ba. She stuck around for 3 months. So I have 3 cases like this. She gets a class uptown. Mind you, a veteran like myself keeps asking, can I have some classes? Can I have some classes? Oh, all this is all right. You get the idea. This little girl goes uptown. They give her 3 classes on the schedule. I'm parking my Mercedes back then, yes. In the street, yes. At the front of the club. She sees me in my car and she turns her head. This book is going to be good. Listen, let me tell you something. My sister's back there, right? It's coming, sis. I'm coming. Let me tell you something. The things that I have seen, I could wipe that off. Just like Kevin Richardson said, I could, listen, I'm a pro. I got that. I think that's why the crabs in the barrel or whatever, they're not getting any further. They just in the circle for now. And when they steal everything from them, their ideas collectively, their styles, they don't know their rights. They don't fight for anything. They use them for a presentation. They'll put their class on the schedule. Right. That's fine. Because with me, I know that you have to pay me what my brand is worth. You have to pay me what my intellect, my education requires. You're not going to use me as a puppet. So therefore, no, I have not been asked by certain organizations. And you know why? Because I have my own voice. I'm going to teach that class. I'm going to teach with excellence. And no, I'm not going to hang out with you. I'm not going to drink beer after class with you.
Right.
I'm not going to.
I'm not your
going to
friend.
drink beer. I'm not your friend. I'm not going to the park across the street with you to sit in the grass. I'm not going to gossip with you. That's not Tina Thompson.
That's right.
Absolutely right.
She's absolutely right.
Absolutely right. And you know what, Joe?
Yeah, she's. I mean, it's so many. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say,
Go ahead.
You brought up the fact about you had to be everything. You had to be Black. You had to be like Puerto Rican, because it's like the whole thing of colorism is very important too. I think if you're a certain color, that color is deemed to be more acceptable to the worldwide market, and so you have to fit into whatever image they want you to have. So I think that's really important.
Yes. I mean, you know what? It's so funny that you said that. Yeah, I knew that because my grandmother taught me that, because she told me about that little brown paper bag thing.
Yes.
But then when I started talking, you see the Black come out of me.
Yeah.
The brown paper bag, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But but you know, it's and you can see it because it's already. You can see that when you see the DVDs, you'll see me with all these different characters. You know, a hip hop, Latin, and you know, and even you just see all these characters. And I got a lot of benefit from it. And I mean, what I want to share with Tina real quick. Tina, you know, you have your dance company because you know what? They're copying your style and they're copying your brand, but it's yours. And they're presenting your brand out to the universe. And I did a test where I did a Yoga for Soul, and I had a white girlfriend of mine who trained under me, and she taught it at Equinox. They didn't know it was mine. And they wanted the name, and I had it all patented, everything. I had to send them a cease and desist letter. Do you know if that was me? It would have never had happened. But I used her. I trained her to go to Equinox because I know they wouldn't accept me, but they would accept her. Share that. That's all.
Wow.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Listen. Hello, Joan Graves. Shaka.
Hello.
Well, I'm done with you, JoJo. Not yet. And I have 2 sisters up here, and I got another person that's well. Listen, we knew this was going to be over an hour because listen, this is legendary. Listen, let me tell you something, JoJo Tyler. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. We are a brand. We have been a brand. I had one, JoJo, before I let you go, I had one director tell me, oh, nobody does step anymore. It's Steposaurus. Like the bronch. You see how your face, you just went like this? That's exactly what my head did, JoJo. Because you know how long I've been teaching step, along with the other pioneers. And he said, because he didn't want to give me any more classes, he said, oh, is that Brontosteposaurus? And I tilted my head, sis.
Ooh.
I'll never forget it. I was in the health club when he said it, and I had to keep walking.
You talking about Jacqueline?
Yes, Valley. Valley.
JoJo, listen, JoJo. Wait, sis, listen, JoJo. JoJo, I had to keep JoJo. I had my shawl, you know my shawls. I had my shawl, JoJo. I had to keep walking because JoJo, you know why I had to keep walking? Because as soon as we say something, it is blown up.
Yeah.
See,
Yes.
if I say boo, she said boo and she yelled at me and she screamed at me, and you know her nails were fly. You know the whole extravaganza of it.
Yes.
Right? You get it. That's what you said. With us, because we're pioneers, JoJo, it's exaggerated. It's like I said at the university where I caught her talking about how our color people stink. Is that she knew that if she went out and lied and said I was chasing her, that they would believe it because I'm a woman of color. See, she knew that they would not believe that she said what she said. They would believe her before me, being you know how we are supposed to be, you know, aggressive or uncivil or ghetto. You know, they really play that card with us so much in this industry, not just fitness. We're going to cover that because my sis down here, I'm going to introduce, she's been in the military and she's going to tell us all about all of the stuff that she's experienced. But JoJo, let me tell you, when I see them say those things about us in meetings with people of color have sat there and let them degrade fellow men and women of color who are like their mentors, who are veterans in this industry. They have let them pull us down. They have let them take classes from us. They have let them try to steal our brand. One of my students said to me, Miss Tina, I saw a ballet workout in the park, and she said, Miss Tina, that's your class. She said, you started that class. I said, what are you talking about? She said, they had another teacher teach ballet in the park. She said, ballet finish. She said, you've been teaching that class for them forever. I said, they didn't ask me. She said, therefore, when we started this show, I read all the elements of harassment. I read all the elements of discrimination. Get into our next guest. Give them about 5 more minutes before we do that. I would like to ask you, as a woman of color in fitness and dance, what are your, we have many shows now, we have many social media platforms that are available now, but what changes have you seen that you would like to be modified back to the way it was? Although we are technologically inclined and advanced, what is something like we're going back in time, the things that you feel the kids are lacking now because of so much technological advancement?
Well, sorry, y'all. I'm just transitioning again. Some things you need to be done in person. Tech savvy has nothing to do with in-person contact. Dance and actually education is a human contact sport because you can always turn off and on with the technology button. But when you're in a person's face, even though if you may black out 8 times, you still have someone there who you can touch and feel and connect with to say, keep going. I see your tears. What happened at home? Why do you not feel well? Sometimes you can't read all of that through technology because people can mask it. People can put on a background. People can turn their camera off.
Yes.
Put on a filter.
People have put on a filter, yes, to make themselves look differently. But certain elements, the arts, you need that human contact. It is a spirit that nothing can mask. And I've noticed, and I've written testimonies to the Department of Education stating that fact. I've spoken to parents, I've spoken to children, and I've said to them, I'm gonna zoom in and you don't turn off that button. I am in your home. And then I zoom back out. And I'm like, I always let them know that I am hugging you. So I literally have to go in and I put my hand like you see I'm doing now to hug them. And they stay on, they would rather we go into class later, forget about the time schedule. I'll email my boss later because these kids have been missing. Sometimes I am their mother. These parents have been learning and appreciating the educators the artists more because they've used the system sometimes just to babysit.
Mm-hmm.
And so this whole pandemic has really turned around. There's always a lesson in a trial and tribulation. So either you can be ignorant and just focus on what didn't work well and why it didn't work well. We're going to come to that, but focus on what did work well. It brought us closer. We're becoming more activists. In our time period right now, we're experiencing what our ancestors did. I just read about that stuff and heard about it. Now we have the right, since we've been had the right to vote. When we lost lives to that, now we're losing lives again, for similar reasons. But now, what are we going to do about it? What is this generation going to do about it? My daughter's with me now, experiencing this. I'm with my daughter, experiencing this now. So
yes, I agree. But I want to know. Excuse me, Miss Tasha. I want to know. Now you're going to get with this. Okay, I'll take in all of that. But I'm going to get back to the question. What would you have liked to see that we had in the past that would be relevant more now for you? What would you like to see come back?
I said in-person class. In-person class.
No, like what are we not doing that we used to do that you feel with all this advancement? The children need to be Shaka.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I would say more, just as Natasha would say, because I've always, I don't know, this generation, the current time we're sitting in, I don't know. I guess because for me, I'm more of a personable individual. I believe in, and it's just coming off of Natasha's coattail with this, but more interpersonal exchange.
That's it. Yeah.
Personal exchange.
That's it.
Okay.
Today, what it is the texting.
Okay.
You know, it's too much of that. I would like to see more togetherness, more human to human contact, Natasha. As you did,
that's what I'm saying.
That, to be more personable. It's lost, and I don't know how we're going to get it back because with the pandemic in front of us, we're in Zoom rooms, we're StreamYarding, we're FaceTiming. So how do we get it back? But we have this big monster in front of us, with this pandemic. So it's caused us to social distance away from one another so that we don't have that human contact.
Yes.
You know what you do though? You drive up to somebody's stoop or sit in their backyard and stay 6 feet away. Only we can allow that. We make it still, that's it, period, point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's forcing people to be complacent just to sit and do this.
Right. Hit buttons.
You know what? I feel like that's what's happening. That's the direction we're moving in with technology, is that this is going to be the future. We have to find ways to find that connection through this machine.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty about this machine is that this machine, we can reach anybody on this planet, which is great.
You can. Yeah, that's the plus.
Well, you can have a wider audience, but I agree with you. It's very difficult to teach fitness or teach dance via a camera because you cannot have that one-to-one connection. And also, it's much more exhausting because you have to put so much more energy out there.
For it to read.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that the kids can be able to like turn off their camera, like turn off your camera, or just like walking away.
You're losing the discipline.
Right.
Well,
So you have to go to school and walk into the classroom or walk into the gym. You have to have a certain amount of accountability, right? You can't just get up and walk out. You have to stay there. With the technology, it's very easy just to turn off the camera or just turn off the computer and walk away and start doing something else.
Right.
Wow. And you know what, you guys, that is exactly where I am pushing. We're going to get ready to conclude this episode. But listen, I'm loving looking at my beautiful family so much. I miss you guys so much. Words can't describe.
Yes.
Likewise.
Miss you too.
Place.
You and Joseph.
Yes, I have to see you, sis. I have to see you. I was planning anyway. You know what we're planning behind the scenes. We don't need to give them children everything. What they see is what they see.
That's it. Receive it.
Yes.
Receive it. And you know what? I just wanted to say exactly off the backs of all of you and Mr. Woodson. That's exactly it. I noticed that there's a lot of kids, and I will say, let me say, youth that, you know, maybe even if they're young adults included, they don't want to do the work. A lot of them don't want to do the work because everything is like, just Google that. It's like, just play that YouTube video. I can copy that. If I work on that for about 4 months, I can do that. I don't need to take that class. Like Tasha said, when we were younger, we had to get up. We had to go to class and train every day.
Yeah.
We had to train, like Shaka knows. We were consistent.
Oh,
We were
yes.
consistent. And we were like doing a show every weekend. We were consistent in everything that we did because we were dedicated. Even the times we were tired, we said no. We committed to this appearance. We have to show up. We have to rehearse for this homecoming, or we have to rehearse for this fashion show. We have to rehearse for this project. We did a lot that we weren't, watch this, we weren't even paid for. And now all the kids, right, sis, all of the kids these days, it's like, you know, give me that, give me that, give me that. And you know what? I learned so much through the art of giving. I learned so much through the art of just being present. And when we get to the point where we say, you know what, you need to give me what I deserve financially, people look at us like we're crazy. And we're saying no, it's because we set the score. We deserve, we put the work in. And some people who haven't put the work in, they're asking for what we're asking for. And it's not right. So therefore, when they look at people like us saying in the fitness field, listen, you deserve to pay me and respect me and to promote me the way I work for, they're looking at you as sometimes as a troublemaker or somebody who's bitter. And I'm saying, like I said in the last episode, bitter, listen, like Jojo said, did you see my resume? Do I look bitter?
Or better.
Like it's bitter with a 2-page resume, and some of these people, you know, 3 out there, you know. But my point is that bitter is not, like Richardson said, bitter is not achieving. Bitter is not surpassing the obstacles and the challenges that are put forth on us, you know. And what I want to say is, I thank you guys for your contribution today. We will continue this conversation. And I'm
Thank you.
Let me do this quick. Thank you, Natasha Devon. We appreciate you. And thank you,
Thank
Joe.
you. Thank you.
Setting love and fabulous fitness. Mr. Woodson, what a show.
This has been so wonderful. And like you said, we have to do a part 2, part 3, a part 4. There's so much to cover. There's so much.
Yes, there's a lot to cover. You know what I want to get to, because we have to get to our products for the day.
Yes.
Don't forget also, Mr. Woodson, in my notes, I have that on July 31st, we are covering dance in the new world.
Dance.
And I will be announcing our illustrious panel in maybe a week or so. We will have all of you dance educators and legendary dance artists that are out there. Please just give us an email at skindancecompany@gmail.com. We would love to have your appearance on our Beauty and the Spirit dance show, dance, fitness, talk, empowerment, all of it. We would love to have your presence. Please, again, send us a skindancecompany@gmail.com email, and we will so fervently get to you and let you know about our updates and our upcoming shows on Dance in the New World, scheduled for July 31st, 2020.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I was getting to this, Mr. Woodson.
Yes.
Listen, I have a lot of people that we couldn't even fit into this show, but I have a thing where I just really feel that people are scared to speak the truth. People don't want to mess up their products, their money, and all the stuff. And you know what the Bible tells you about having money be your God. When money is your God, you will always be led by an evil. You might want to fix up things and not say things because you don't want to offend anybody. But guess what? The joke is on you, because they look at you as somebody that is just going to keep on going through the system of catering people that they could just pass through the system, and then you not say anything, and then you tickle everybody's ears about what they want to hear and what they want to do. But let me tell you, You are standing on the coattails and you are standing on the shoulders of those before you. Actually, like I said, we're gonna continue this, Woodson. You are standing on, even I'm gonna just include myself. A lot of the Black girls, especially at fitness competitions and a lot of fitness organizations, they are.
Yeah. She will be back. I hope you guys are enjoying this.
We have let me get her.
Yes. You are there. Yes. So we're talking about the fitness competitions.
Yes, that the fitness competitions, you are resting on the coattails and the shoulders of people like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I brought in a competitor to a certain fitness competition, and she had to wait on this long line. And one of the nice women there who knew me for years, she said, "No, she can come with you, Miss Tina Thompson, because she's with you. You trained her." And she looked and she came right in those doors. It was symbolism. She came through those doors when I had to fight to get through those doors. You hear what I'm saying to you? She walked through that door on her first competition with such ease for a certain project or film, a TV step they were doing on us. She walked that door as if there was no problem. And when she did that, I felt very good. But I had a thought, Woodson. I said, wow, I really hope she realizes what just actually happened. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
It's that she got given that favor because of the shoulders that she stand on. I had to go through a lot of bouts with a lot of these people. And they could view me as being too, like I said, this is not the March on Washington. I was astounded. And then it comes to find out it was a person of color that said this. And they apologize for it later, but these are the very people that get scared to come up on these platforms because they don't want to mess up their money. They don't want to mess up the connection of sucking up to the people they need to suck up so they could come to their competitions. But guess what? I say this to you. They're never going to be in a place that me and my platform and my family is on, because this show is going to expand. We're going to grow, and we're going to assess, and we're going to approach all the things that it's not about calling people out. I don't do that name calling. I have class. I don't watch this. Watch my lips. You know who you are. Yes. You know exactly who you are. You know exactly who you are. And for me, that gets to the spirit worse than calling out a name.
Yes.
Because it's something called a conscience. You understand that you have been a very, very you make it a very challenging environment for men and women of color in a lot of bodybuilding and fitness competitions. We're not allowed to be contended with unless you're someone like myself that says, yes, we're going to stay here and we're going to keep on knocking on that door until we make a platform for women of color like myself. And you're not going to miss me, because even though you act like you ignored me standing on my toes and balancing on my elbow in a 29,000 counts, this competition, guess what? I'm going to do it with my leg behind my neck this time, turning into and right. I'm going to keep coming back for as many times as I have to. And you don't have to place me where you need to place me, because in my heart and for my people, I have done the work. So those of you backing out and playing games, and you on the coattail ride for the mission, and then behind the scenes, you talking to people about, oh, you really were kind to me. No, they wasn't. They wasn't kind to you, and you know they weren't kind to you. What happened is they dealt with you because you were paying. That's what they did. They dealt with you because you're paying, and now you're selling your soul again for another product. But guess what? I'm gonna sit back here and I'm gonna watch you, because guess what? I'm about the development for my people and everybody. Like Kevin Richardson said, we're gonna make space for all of us through fitness, dance, arts, all of it. So that being said, listen, hit it, Mr. Woodson. What do you have to say in this show?
No, everything you said was correct. I feel like we are living in a give it to me now generation. You know, people think that, oh, I have a nice body. Let me go on Instagram, flash my abs, tell everybody that I'm a personal trainer, get all these followers, and then people are following these people thinking that they actually are fitness qualified and certified and that they have experience, and it's not the case. You know, it's all about appearances, or like JoJo was saying, like picking somebody that looks the part that they repackage in order to sell the product. It's all about selling the product. It's all about the package. It's all about not paying your dues. It's about how many followers you have these days and just presenting this image. But it's like, do you really know what you're talking about? Have you really done the work? So I definitely agree with you. It's about standing on the shoulders of people who have come before you and acknowledging the fact that you would not be in this place or you would not be in this room with these elite people had it not been for the people who have opened up the doors for you.
Amen. Amen. And if I could put a K on a Mick, okay, listen. Amen. And to that ado, I say this to you. Let me tell you, we have some people up here. I'm going to read some of our comments. This show is 2 hours. Listen, the kids will be downloading and forwarding this link. I don't know how some people didn't get the link. So we'll try it again next time because I don't know what's going on. But either way, the link seemed to work right for a lot of other people. I don't know. But let me say this to you. I'm going to say it again in wrap up. No matter what you do, in dance, fitness, business, the arts, whatever. Today's show is about the fitness field. You've seen some of our illustrious guests, and we're going to do another one, Mr. Woodson. I think we're going to do another one. We'll talk behind the scenes.
Yes.
You are not being respected because you play the seesaw. You're not selling your products to no more of those fitness competitors. They're not going to buy your products. No, they're not. They're going to buy a product from Tina Thompson before they buy a product from you. Let me tell you why. Because as my sister said, I've been up here. My fit camps consisted of Caucasians, whites, Asians, everybody, blacks, Indians, right? I had a very large following, Caribbean, my family, and black, age. You get the point. You get the point. So my point is, like JoJo, we're people from a loving background. We're about changing lives, empowering lives. And nothing you do, I don't care how many followers you get either. There's pictures of myself and my family and dance and fitness and archives. Like I said, I'm working on the book. You have not seen. There's things that you don't know. And I am not going to try to hide what the story is for the next generation. Because the other girls coming in fitness, they need to know. Treat your body like a temple. Stop making yourself appear to be detestable out there in these bikinis and straddling for judges and showing your body in a degrading way. It's not the way. Our women of color and any other color. That's another thing for women. Show more respect to yourself when you're out there competing. And when I competed, I never did that. I never lowered my standards for a judge. I never slept with a judge. I never went out with a judge. I never kissed the judges behind. I said, if I put the work forward, I will be rewarded according to what my God says. And that's exactly what I live on. I will be rewarded according to what my God says. And he never lies. See, man will lie to you, but he never lies. So you can go on here with your new platforms and your social media, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel as if you're qualified. Because me and some of you, you're not qualified. You can put up pictures. You can sell all types of stuff. You can go on different podcasts. It don't matter because at the end of the day, you did not put the work. Let me look again. You did not do the work. So therefore, in your conscience, that's why you got to jump on everybody's bandwagon. Because you got to jump on everybody's bandwagon because you didn't do the work. And that's why when you sleep at night, it bothers you because you know that you're not credible. You know that you don't have foundation. And so that's what I'm wrapping this up with. Me and mine, I salute you, I applaud you, and I, from my dance to my fitness to anything that I've been doing in my life so far, to God to the glory. To God be the glory. My foundation, as my sister said, is why I'm able to say what I say and I feel what I feel and I'm able to do what I do. Because we and all of the guests up here, we put the work in. And there's going to be some more people that we miss this time. We put the work in. So let me tell you this. You guys can take this link, post this show, and do what you have to do after this. Because it's not nothing about bashing anybody. I haven't mentioned the first name up here. Are you kidding me? Like I said to JoJo, I'm not giving them that attention. Trust me, they're gonna watch this later. Sit there with their pies and their cookies and please put me on the big screen because these are nice earrings. Yeah. Put me and Joseph on the big screen when you scroll and you watch this. Okay, it's very important that I go on the big screen. Says Versace. Okay, make sure you go up there. It's important because my sisters will be back. Again, we're going to do dance. And Mr. Woodson, what you got to say? Because you know, I start spraying. Okay, you know, I'm sad. I start spraying.
No, I mean, everything you said, I agree with. This is so needed. We need to do a part 2, part 3, and it's just, they need to recognize that we are vital to this field. We have done the work. We need to be appreciated. We need to be paid. We need to be sitting at the table where decisions are being made. All of those things need to happen, and it doesn't need to be just one. That's not diversity. Diversity is having several people that look like you and I, people of color, people of every single descent, all coming together and making this a better place. Because we all need fitness, all of us. All
absolutely.
And it should not.
And stop, you know what? Yeah. And yes, and stop thinking that your sisters and your brothers of color are difficult. Wake up, snap out of it. They've been trying to create a platform to make it easier for you, the ones that are to come after you. So no, like I said earlier, I'm not having beer with you at Summer Stage. I'm not coming to your house. I'm not carrying your briefcase. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm for people that I love and respect if they need me to. But you get what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not going to be in your little circle for you to go back to what our ancestors did. And that is put the work in. Stop hiring your friends who you know are not qualified for the jobs. That's a whole nother show. I understand sometimes we help our friends because I do it and my friends have helped me. But let me tell you, all my friends that have helped me, they are hard. They are very strong people and they're very technical. And if they ask me to dance for their company or anything, I know I got to go in there ready because my friends are fierce. My circle is fierce and they have credentials that are legit. And I that's why I say, you know, more of you need to start assessing your characters on how you're like, I'm not going to text her. I ain't going to call her. Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, you should be calling people and your mentors. You should be saying, let me reach out. Shame on you. And I didn't mention Donna Richardson, Madonna Grimes, Richard Simmons, Casey Duke, like JoJo Tyler. I'm glad he mentioned Casey. Hillary Coley. It's so many people that we need to do on this show with the pioneers of fitness that they know that they have attributed to so many of us that have reached out and extended a platform for us to say, hey, do your thing, do you, without judgment. So, Mr. Woodson, I don't know which product you've been using this week, but I know what I've been taking. You did it.
What do I have today? I have something from Nubian Heritage. I think you're going to like this one. Are you ready?
Oh!
Ooh. Mango butter. Can you see that?
Oh, yes, I can.
That's
and you know what?
Massage oil. And
you know we love that mango. And you know who else loves a mango? She does.
Indeed. Yes. I was like, yes.
But guess what? We're going to continue with her on July the 31st for Dance in the New World. You know she's loving. Oh, she's like, oh, she's so shady. Listen, they from my quilt, so they should know. So, what are you doing?
So you put this on after you take a nice bath or shower, and you just, you have to rub your body down. You have to take care of your skin. Skin is very important. Skin.
Take care of your skin. So, Mr. Woodson, would you give some last words for this audience today?
I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you received something from this. I hope that you continue to support fitness professionals of color, fitness in general. We just need to see more fitness professionals of color that get the attention that they deserve. I can't really name any current fitness professionals that are household names other than, you know, Mr. Tybo from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like we need to have more diversity. Everything's always about Jillian Michaels and all these other instructors, but I feel like there are so many talented people that are just not getting the attention that they deserve. I'm so glad that you had our guest today on, and I believe that we need to continue to talk about this. And there's room for all of us at the top. There's room for everyone.
Absolutely. And that being said, we thank you for joining us on our episode, Beauty in the Spirit.
Yes.
Black women and men in fitness, the experience.
Yes.
Be ready for part 2, because there will be a part 2. And I know, as you know, I should be on the big screen, children, with my fabulous co-host, Joseph Woodson.
Yes.
And
Thank
we
you,
will see you
guys.
soon.